Welcome back to MSI 2025 here in our elimination best-of-5 match between Flyquest and BLG. Flyquest had a strong start winning game number 1, but in game number 2, BLG looked so much better. They were coordinated, they were clean, and they earned themselves a tied series.
Yeah, Pantheon is quite the champion, and now he is gone, along with the Kalista that I'm sure many are excited about. So as we get into the draft powered by Omen and HyperX, let's see how things shape up. Flyquest electing to be on the red side. So they're targeting towards quad. They're trying to limit that pool a little bit by removing the Cassio, taking out the Azir, in response to the Varus and the Twisted Fate coming through.
These are the exact same starting bans from game number 2. BLG, again, all 5 going to be the same now as they continue banning out the standard Azir, the pocket pick Cassio for quad, and the Galio that can be used as the counter pick to a blue side first pick Rumble from Flyquest. Now, last time around, Flyquest immediately banned the Rumble here because they're saying they know what Bin wants to do, what BLG wants to pick for the top lane. We'll see if they do it again now.
Well, that's a good question, because also the Vi is available too. And you have to imagine that Beishuan's going to want to get his hands on that. When we think about Pantheon, Wukong, Xin already being removed, this champion naturally rises in priority. And guess what mid lane champion pairs nicely with the Vi?
Do you want to break up the Ahri Vi? Do you want to break up Knight's Ahri? Let's see.
Well, that's the question, because think back to the top of the day and what the analysts were talking about in terms of win conditions for Flyquest. Quad having a bit of a rougher showing this tournament, wanting to put him on more standard control mages versus more of those skirmish-style mages like the Ahri. We'll see if Flyquest want to go for it, because immediately they're going to lock Senna for Masu.
Yeah, straight from the bottom side here, wanting to remain fairly safe. So you're thinking of the other things that are going to pair with the Senna, like Tom Kench or something like that. To try and keep yourself safe. I'm thinking of Poppy right now too. Poppy is pretty good into Vi. Wukong is also good, but of course because of Fearless is not an option. So maybe if they see a couple more champions here, it might be a Poppy angle.
So there's quite a few layers here with this Rise pick, because firstly you'd think, okay, you want Tom Kench and you want Poppy. Why? Both fantastic champions into the Vi specifically. But at the same time, mid lane has been pinched extremely hard. So you want to make sure that Quad can get something that he's comfortable on. And so by locking in the Rise and by removing both the Cassio and the Azir, you're also getting rid of some matchups that are pretty good into the champion too. So I quite like the approach. The problem is we know what's going to come out from the other side, and it is none other than Knight's most played career champion, that Ahri, sitting at around a 78% win rate career all time.
That's crazy.
You could say he's pretty good at Ahri. Let's see what they complement, because they also were hovering over the Gwen for Bin, which was banned out every single game by T1. But he does have some other options here.
Yeah, we're looking at the Ambessa being hovered right now. Remember that Gwen and Ambessa were the bans from Flyquest in the second half of that previous game. This time around, BLG are going to lock Bin's Ambessa before the bans continue.
And the reason I like this is because you have 2 solo lanes that both benefit greatly from Vi lockdown. Obviously, everyone's very well accustomed to Vi plus Ahri. You line up the other skill shots for the other person. Same thing with Ambessa with your ultimate. Vi combos, people really like doing assassination plays with Vi plus Ambessa. So you have a lot more options to go for. And I was going to just blow a gasket if they didn't go Poppy after that, because guess how many dashes are on the side of BLG? We said it after just the Vi is picked, but once you add an Ahri and an Ambessa on that, that is probably like the highest value you're going to get out of a Poppy.
Yeah, there is so much value in Steadfast Presence. Ahri's ultis, Ambessa's everything by trying to enter in with the Vault Breakers. And now we'll get into the second half of the draft. Flyquest are going to ban out the Ziggs. This is another pick. I like seeing them ban this away. We go back to the analysts at the top of the day talking about how it's not that Masu is bad on Ziggs, it's just the fact that he's such a mechanical player. He's such a huge part of their DPS. Generally, I think a lot of people don't want to see him on something like this, so you ban it away to make sure that BLG can't pick it, and it's not really the ideal situation for you either, so you don't feel bad about it.
Love the respect towards the Bard ban. We heard Azale talking about it in the last post-match. He was kind of expecting it to come out in Game 2. BLG aware of the possibility of this pick and how effective Busio has been on the champion. Its ability to punish flashless champions. Once you use that mobility, you become easy to lock down. It just has so much flexibility in how it can be used.
And it completely shuts down Vi engages. So when they're showing Vi plus Ari and Vi plus Ambessa, they do not want that combo breaker of defensive bar ultimates coming in. And there's the other one that we mentioned as far as the combo breakers and those defensive champions that pair well with the Senna and can shut down what BLG are showing.
And Flyquest started off by banning the Ziggs, long range, mostly uninteractive lane opponent there for the bottom lane. They're going to man away Caitlyn for what I would assume is a similar reason. They don't want to have Senna constantly suffering under early pressure from long range. They want to allow her to farm up those souls and become a late game super weapon.
Now, the traditional combo that we would normally see from a BLG comp like this would be the Kai'Sa. You double, triple down on that dive idea. And with the gangplank coming through from Whippo, I mean, back in EU, this was an old school favorite of his.
And we've been waiting for this champ with the changes on the patch. Who was going to bring it out? Whippo literally has a Gangplank tattoo on his arm that he got when he was over here in North America. He loves this champ, as you say. Bin also has some famous history with this champ, too.
You're going to traumatize him.
I didn't say it.
But there's the Kai'Sa that we were talking about. Just double tripling down on the dive. You've got so much backline threat. Busio's going to need something to help keep Masu alive, because if he thought he struggled in game 2, I can tell you right now, all eyes are on that AD carry's head moving into game 3.
Honestly, okay, well, compared to last game, I would like a lot of things way more, but I really like this, what Flyquest are cooking here, because they have so much counter engage. They have the ability to play side lanes with the Rise plus Global Ultimate of Ascena. They have Poppy for defense, another defensive champ here, the Alistar picked up. So they have defensive Gangplank ultimates, barrel chains coming through, Poppy as well as Alistar to try and play bodyguard. So Flyquest have kind of built a comp to receive the aggression from BLG. The question is, can you actually do that carefully? Or can BLG just get their kills anyway and just fully dive and fully snowball and not care about your defense?
Yeah, it's a pedal to the metal composition from BLG in this one. Knight on his nearly 80% win rate. Ari, he was the far better mid laner in game number 2, having a 3-level lead over Quad, having such an impact on the Victor and on his number 1 champion. I feel like BLG is going to have eyes on him with this great jungle pairing to really accelerate this game and stop Flyquest from the infinity scaling.
We only have to look at the T1 series, where we saw even in the loss, Knight's Ari was crazy good. He was still finding incredible angles. He was saving so many team fights. And I feel like that this game has to be about this mid lane, because on the side of BLG, they have so many playmaking tools. When you have Vi, Ari, Nautilus, the lockdown, the pick potential, the follow-up, it's all there. But for the side of Flyquest, you've got Poppy, a lot more about the disengage, as Kobe was just talking about. Rise has some potential setup, but they're going to have to rely along on these objectives, and they have, with a Senna, they're going to need more time. So they're going to have to weather the pressure from BLG early if they want to stand a chance here in game 3.
Ooh, it seems I've just been informed we have a pause. There is some sort of a peripheral issue on stage. We'll see. Hopefully that can be resolved.
There was some
quickly.
Callista still stuck on his mouse.
Oh, yeah.
So they have to go clean the Callista off.
The
I think is
Callista
what happened.
You gotta make sure you scrub that away. You don't want any lingering remnants of a 0 and 9 champion on your mouse, keyboard, monitor, anything.
I just got the technical update.
Yeah, that's good.
Sure
That's very important to know. We got to make sure that we have no Callista
So many of
left.
these signs that I just read. The first one is Masu the Bossu just doesn't rhyme. Okay, that's that. Just want to get that out of the way.
You shut your mouth. He's the boss.
Okay, he can be the boss, doesn't rhyme. Okay, second one.
We got the U at the
I've
end.
been living in Berlin for so long. When I saw Wide Whippo, I actually read it as V-Day. Started reading it in German. Anyway, a lot of great signs in the audience.
That was a U problem.
That is a me problem.
I don't know how to speak any German.
I like that sign. Masu the Bossu.
Actually, you can say it in a way that
with an
rhymes.
American accent, I can hear
with
it
an American accent.
It's a U problem.
So that's 2 Vedius problems out of 2
Thank
problems.
you guys, I've learned more. I appreciate that.
We're here to help
Learning
expand your
American day by
horizons,
day.
my friends. We're locked in. There we got Whippo the goat. We got a jungle
Now
gap.
that doesn't rhyme, surely.
No, I don't think that one's meant
That's
to
just
rhyme.
a nice thing to say.
I don't think that one's meant to have some.
We're gonna need a medic up here. Can we get someone to check on Vedius? Something is wrong with my Vedius.
Okay, we'll have to make sure Vedius is firing on all cylinders. But now we are into the game for game number 3 here in his best of 5. We're tied up 1-1 so far as Flyquest again. Even after the loss last time, they're choosing to stay on the red side. We'll see if that ends up favoring them as we check out our runes. It is a Summoner's Spellbook for On compared to the Aftershock for Busio. So more combat power for the Flyquest support.
As BLG make their way into the enemy jungle, they do a tried and true strategy of just getting clear information of the early game plan coming through from BLG. And while there is a bit of a response, oh, actually not much response, very little vision invested on the side of Flyquest. But as we jump into game 3, I think it's important to acknowledge Bin. 144 international games played. He passes both Maple and Peanut for the 7th all time. The man has become a staple of international competition.
Oh no!
Run into another pause.
This Callista is very tenacious.
It's still in there. I swear, it is so hard to remove. You got to get it out of every little crack.
Use one of the
0-9.
Yeah, use one of those like compressed air duster things. Just get Callista out of the game. All right. Hopefully we can get this fixed here real soon. Get back into game.
Yeah, and we'll see. You know, we'll see if Bwipo on his Gangplank here. If you didn't hear during Champ Select, like he actually, I don't know if we can see it. There, right there, the Gangplank sword. With on fire, by the way, with the passive is the tattoo that he got on his arm. Of course, Kiaya had the previous really good Gangplank game in the tournament. The only one previously that we had here at MSI, but that one was a beauty. So we'll see if Bwipo can do the same.
Looks like we are having, I've been informed it is the same peripheral issue as before. So we are now trying a third option.
I told you, it's still in there.
It's the Callista peripheral.
Same one.
We don't want those.
Oh, look at that. It's all tangled too.
Yeah, that Callista did that. She hopped in too many circles.
Gotta rend the mouse cords apart.
Make sure that you get all of it out. Everybody seems pretty relaxed mostly though. Hopefully this should be pretty quick as we try to find exactly where we're going to plug that in.
While I may not be a pro player,
okay,
I can say with confidence that having a functioning mouse, quite important.
Does it help at all? Oh,
I would say that it does, in fact, help quite a lot.
Help a little bit, okay.
Yeah.
You know, when I used to play back in Season 2 with one of my buddies that I got into the game with, he only played Darius and he only played on a trackpad.
I mean, he used famous for, we had a guy like that.
I was gonna bring that up. I couldn't remember his exact name.
I wanted to say it's Kurt, I want to say, but I
that sounds correct.
Yeah,
we would mention it like every single time.
We did. It was like his one thing.
Like, this guy uses a freaking trackpad. It is crazy.
Some people just have the skill to get it done, but luckily we have our league ops to get this fixed so nobody has to play on the trackpad.
I can tell that, like, I am old as a gamer because these days most people use wireless mice and I just don't trust them. Because when I started adopting them, that lag that they used to have, I just couldn't get with it. But these days, apparently they're very good.
Catch up with the time, though. They're great now.
I just got to plug in. That's what I trust. The tried and true. Plug it in. It works like a charm.
You are the perfect, like, quintessential grumpy old man for sure, though. I think you became a grumpy old man at the age of, like, 22.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
It's pretty young to be a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
So what do you ascend to after that, then? If you're already grumpy and old at 22.
Listen, when you guys are all like, you know, excited when things happen after a cast, everyone's had a great day, and we're like, let's go out and have drinks. I'm like, how about we don't, and we go inside and we just not talk to each other.
Uncle Vedius is back at home playing Lost Ark.
Not wrong.
Okay, we've.
All right, how many mice did we have to clean though? Like,
I was informed we were on number 3.
Because that's, I mean, I guess it just like splattered across all the.
What if we just get a box of them, dump it out on the table, and just start plugging them in until one works?
I'm down.
Sounds like that sounds like an efficient solution. Just keep plugging mice.
Yeah, we just keep.
Have we tried a joystick?
Oh man, yeah. What if we use some old school arcade controller or something? Might make it a little bit more difficult. I have been updated.
I think it would only work if they were playing Yumi.
We could go to the
like a guitar.
WASD. That's what we need.
Oh yeah, there you go. Well, we have an update that the third mouse did not work. So it seems like it's not just a mouse issue. Callista has still infected the computer itself.
I love how you guys have just both collectively agreed Callista was the problem. Okay, guys, we have to find a way to
I don't
solve
know
this
what else it
problem.
could be.
She's
Vegas.
gone, guys. I don't know how to tell you this. She's
We're not
gone.
bitter. You know, we're not scarred. It's fine. It's totally
Yeah, I
fine.
have no lasting mental scars from Callista gameplay at MSI 2025.
We could easily let go of that right
let
now.
that go. You
If
can
we
let that
if we
go.
wanted to, we could just let go right now.
All right, cool. So from moving forward, that champion will no longer be named.
But what do you think about 3 mice in a row all had problems? That's
like a
crazy, no?
computer issue.
Yeah, I feel like it's got to be more than just the mice at that point. There's no
At some
way
point
all
the
of the
USB
mice.
plug is broken, or
Yeah.
fortunately, we're not responsible for troubleshooting. So
Oh yeah, I wouldn't know.
I mean, I'm pretty
any
good.
idea
I
what
just
to do.
take it out, plug it back in.
turn it off, turn it back on again.
I mean, that's the tried and true. That's what works for everything that I
blow on
usually
it a little
try.
bit.
I mean, my PC has like 8 different USB ports, so I'd be going through all the different
Oh,
ones.
you just
testing
check and
them out.
see.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I have some piece of technology that doesn't work and unplugging and plugging it back in doesn't work, sometimes I'll just smack it. Like you just give it a good, you give it a good thump, and
And
sometimes
I'm the unk, really?
and sometimes it'll work.
You know
just
what?
like-
You can have multiple unks.
Something just is like a little bit out of place.
We
but
might
then it
be an
works.
unk trio.
We might
actually.
be.
Wait, what is
How
your
would you-
uncle?
Everyone on this
trait?
cast.
I'm just old. I am just actually old.
Okay, so you're
Ever-
actually old.
Okay,
Vegas wants to stay in the hotel
You
room.
know, I'm in my 30s too, right?
I hit stuff to fix it.
You know, did you guys ever wiggle the
Back in
antenna
my
on your
day,
TVs? Did you ever
I
have
played
to do
in
that?
a League of Legends tournament in 2010.
Oh yeah, World Cyber Games champion right here.
Got a gold medal for North America. Okay,
Do you still have it?
I still do. Yeah.
Hell yes, that's what I like to hear. All right, I'm being told that we are now getting ready checks. Whatever the problem with the mouse was, whether it was a physical problem, whether it was a software problem, we know it was a Callista problem, and now it's fixed. We are into the game.
I let go of it.
No, Kobe said if we want to let go, we can, and I don't want to.
I would like to make a personal request. Let's get someone out there and buy 10 more mice right now, just in case.
Yeah, go to the mouse store. Get
Make it-
something
make it
else.
20.
Make sure that we're ready, as we are ready to finally get Game 3 underway as the minions are about to collide. Masu on this Senna in this game. This is a huge scaling pick, and we'll see how well Flyquest, can protect him.
He's got some in his mouth now.
Because remember, the whole BLG comp is dive, dive, dive.
Now, we have to talk about Masu. Oh,
No shot.
No
way. No way. I swear, if they get in my ear and tell me this is a mouse.
Oh, no. Yep, we're... Oh, no! Yeah, we all... They don't even have to tell us, man. We can just see by the image on our screen.
Up my order. I'm buying 50 mice right now. Somebody get online.
We're going to need more than
Yo,
that,
has anybody
man.
in the audience got a mouse for me?
Does anybody have a spare control item?
I signed someone's mouse pad earlier. Maybe they also brought the mouse.
Why would they bring the mouse?
I don't know.
we don't even have a mouse on this desk.
Why would you bring a mouse pad?
What, to get
No
people
mouse?
to sign it? A mouse pad is just a really thick piece of
People
paper.
can sign
They
mice
may
too.
have bought the mouse pad here.
All right.
Yeah. Well, what if it's merch? Wait, do we have?
All right,
do we
you
have
need to
mice
go to bed,
merch?
all right?
I actually don't know all of the
right.
stuff that we have. I know there's a bunch of stuff.
I surrender. You know what? I haven't seen them try and change Inspired's mouse, though. I think he's got his on lock.
Yeah, it seems to just be. It looks like it's just Quad's mouse over and over again that refuses to cooperate. Yeah.
So you guys controller guys or mouse guys?
Oh.
You play a game. would you
Keyboard and mouse all
Yeah.
day.
All the day?
All day, every day.
Yeah.
I even play like Dark Souls games with a keyboard and mouse.
If
and that's
I could
considered
play
sacrilege
League with
by
a
the way.
controller, I would do it.
Wait, are you saying if you could also get auto aim? Because auto aim is what makes the difference.
Vedius is trying to hack.
I believe it's called. I believe it's called
auto aim.
I believe it's called aim assist.
Okay. Oh.
Okay, we've got some player comms of the mouse moment. Let's listen into what's going through the players' minds.
Can I change my mouse? I think this mouse have like this one is I don't know how to explain, but when I hold, it's like up and down, so it's
It's jumping.
Jumping mouse?
Yeah, Callista jumping. It's
Oh my goodness! You did.
How does that even work?
It was literally Marshall Cadence mouse.
Oh no, you're right. It hops.
No, he's not right. Start the name.
No, he's right.
I am right.
Okay.
I successfully moved us
think-
off this topic, and somehow you two find us a way to bring us back onto it.
Okay,
You're right,
because
buddy.
of the technical issues that she's obviously responsible for, the only reasonable response is to disable Callista for the rest of the
Wait.
tournament. All in favor?
I vote yes.
Okay.
Everybody in chat, vote.
Vote now. If we
She's
disable
already
Callista.
gone for the series.
How about then we return to the topic of Vedius needing auto aim in League of Legends?
Okay, it's called aim assist.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know, controls are just more comfortable. They were designed for gaming when you
Yeah.
think about it.
I mean, it is nice to do like relaxed. Do you sit on the couch with your game?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
100%. I mean,
That's-
I am.
that's chill.
Grew up on consoles. You know what I mean? I was first and foremost a console gamer before I
When you grew
adopted
up
the way of the
400
PC.
years ago?
Yeah.
When you were when there were dinosaurs? What was that?
Built my first PC with rock and firewood.
Oh, nice. We're so good out there.
I
But
do
you-
not see a single no in Twitch chat. Everyone votes.
You got the chat up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to see if they vote
I
to ban
believe
Callista.
you said I. If they don't say I, then does it really count?
I.
Deal.
Okay.
One guy pressed F for
Deal.
Callista. I don't trust him. Oh, there's one no.
Oh,
There's
I'm
one
getting
no.
an important note. God, they're in my ear right now. They say, anyone have a Twitch Prime in chat? Yeah, I just got
Are you
this
selling
fixes
out
the
right now?
mouse. Just got this weird message.
The weird message.
Yeah, that was crazy. Anyways,
That's crazy. That's the message that
Yeah,
you
that
got
was
at this
crazy.
critical junction of
any
our
gifters? Whoa, that was
competition.
I don't know. What's going on, guys?
Okay, well, as Kobe, Vedius, and I lock in our Callista hunting techniques to finally solve this problem, we're going to toss things back to the analyst desk while the issue gets resolved.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all,
They've lost their collective
Vedi
minds.
is disgusting.
Yeah, he is.
Not mouse and keyboard gaming. That is absolutely filthy.
Oh, I thought you just mean in general.
Yeah, no, come on. We all. I'm sorry.
The man can't defend himself,
Oh,
Raz.
that's the best
me.
part about it.
Honestly, I see you too, Vedius. It's
You know, some people say
disgusting
don't kick them
altogether.
while they're down. Raz is like, that's when they
No,
can't
kick
defend
him
themselves.
extra. Kick him extra.
Exactly.
Hey.
Don't look back behind you, Vedius.
They're-
North American
they're
backstabbers
hilarious.
are there.
They're hilarious, but obviously they have to cast maybe 5
do.
games
They
today.
actually
So
do.
can we be as hilarious? I don't know. Let's talk about maybe some stuff.
Sure. So the comps are actually inverted. So it is Flyquest team is on the
Yeah.
right and
Yes.
BLG's is on the left.
Correct.
I was really happy with the draft for Flyquest. You know, a lot of kind of what we were talking about. Sure, it's great to be able to execute on an incredibly, early game focused comp that is really kind of tight win conditions, that is hard to pull off. But also, you could just draft a comp that has incredible counter engage, that outscales your opponents, and make it a lot easier for yourselves. This game, the pressure is all going to be on BLG. Again, they are the comp that is listed on the left. They are playing the Ahri, the Vi, the Ambessa. It's full send.
Yes.
But you are trying to full send it through a Poppy, through GP ult, through Alistar peeling, through Senna ultimate. There are so many tools I think that Flyquest have to really absorb that initial engage.
On is looking at his
He's
own
looking at his
mouse.
mouse, too.
He's like, what if my
Don't-
mouse is messed
stop.
up?
No,
Hey,
don't
we
even
must stop
think about
inspecting
it.
mouses.
He's getting
guys.
incepted.
Don't even think about it.
He's-
Does it smell good?
Maybe it smells
Maybe,
nice.
maybe.
It's a
It
lavender
is blue.
smell.
What if it's blueberry?
It could.
You know, it's like the scratch and sniff.
Wait.
That's the next evolution of
That's-
mice.
Scratch and sniff mice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you may have just come up with a generational idea.
There you go. I want 10%, whoever makes that.
All right.
No, I don't think that's happening.
Anyways, you were
yeah.
going to say something, right?
But on BLG side, I think it's really good at being able to play through sides. Like Ahri, Vi, Ambessa, Kaisa. Kaisa can always join those fights. So yeah, in a larger team fight, if you allow Flyquest to scale, it's going to be pretty rough. But overall, especially if you give Knight
Hello.
Ahri his best pick historically and allow him to be able to just pick off members, and Flyquest has made mistakes throughout this tournament, especially in this series, then it could really get tough.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have
Oh my God.
the ability to execute on this comp, clearly, right? BLG are a very good team. They're all hands. Bin is going to be on a completely different style of champion. We had Sion, then we had Ornn, now we have Ambessa. So it is
no.
all about
Cast
the
this.
execution.
I want you to cast this, though. I don't care about any of it. Right? Like, how many people does it take to replace a mouse?
But we have a
Well-
backup just in case. You can see behind him right there.
Yeah, there's a few. I will say I feel them, though, because you know how it is to change mice?
Yeah.
if you're used to playing with them, you gotta adjust. So he wants it to be perfect, which I think we can respect.
Absolutely. I mean, it has to be. You know, when you're trying to play at this level, like one misclick in a team fight can be the end of your entire tournament.
Especially after that last game, he's like, no, I need my mouse to work. I need it to
Gotta
be
lock
good.
in.
Yeah,
Gotta be
I mean,
on point.
especially if you're talking about your mouse like bumping up or something like that, that just does not sound good at all.
Hey.
But I just want to say, respect to the crowd that's been out here for the time that we've been here in Vancouver.
Sir.
They have been incredible. Every single one of you guys, even the last person we saw on camera, like a big ball of energy. So shout out to you guys out there in the crowd.
And you know, if any of you,
It is good to be back in Canada.
Yes, sir.
We got a couple of good old Canadian
you're back
boys
on
here
camera,
on the desk.
brother.
Let's go, brother. Let's go. Give me that energy.
Yeah.
let's go. Let's see, indeed. A lot of fan support for Flyquest here, and regardless of how you twist and turn it, you feel that when you're on stage.
And I just want to make the point because, yes, they've been chanting Flyquest from the beginning, especially after game one. A lot of these guys, I've asked a lot of fan members, like, where they're coming in from. The thing that I've heard consistently is, like, this is their first league event. The last time they were here in Canada was 2017 in Vancouver.
Yep.
And for a lot of people who've been, like, either flying in from Saskatchewan or Toronto or, like, coming in from Calgary, like, it's crazy that people are coming through all around Canada to be able to watch their first league event.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the first ever international in Canada for League of Legends, so definitely really exciting for people to be here, and the crowd has definitely been showing out. We have also been treated to such a good tournament.
Yeah.
I do think because...
Yeah, you would say that.
Well, but also a lot of teams, I would say that, yes, our teams are still here and playing on stage.
Bit superior.
But also... the fact that we had teams like Furia and like GAM and like CFO, I think surprising and overperforming where people were expecting them to go, really made a lot of the series less predictable, made them more competitive, and it meant we have had very few blowouts at this event throughout all the way through. Has been a lot of fun to watch, really competitive. Of course, we still do have a number of days left in the tournament.
We do. I don't want to be serious, but I also don't want to really laugh at the situation because this is tragic, right? At this point, he just wants to get back in the game, and you're sitting next to him, and you're like, yes, I also want to get back in the game, but it's got to be perfect. Hey,
you just want comfort. Like, you don't want to go into a game like being regretful about like trying to play through a mouse problem.
Let's talk about, you want to talk about bridesmaids?
I can talk about bridesmaids. I don't know where you're going, but I'm down.
The BLG, always the bridesmaid.
True. They're not going to like the sound of that, but it is a fact.
And it's something that they're fighting up against also this tournament, right?
Yeah. I mean, especially since like they went through a number of roster changes throughout the years, like going from Shun to Wei to Beitron. Like, you want to come into this event.
He's looking locked in.
And
Yo, this is looking promising.
I like
they're all kind of wiggling their seats in. You can see the seat wiggle.
BLG members
Getting
also
locked
sitting
in,
up.
making sure
It
the
looks
belly
good.
has to be to the desk when you're playing.
It looks good. So let's head back over to our, well, 2 who play on PC and 1 who is not very good
That
at
is a
games.
cheater. The one that is a cheater. You can say it.
But we look good too, right?
Yeah, we're chilling. We're having a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the caster desk, as I believe we are just about ready to get back into game. Quad's mouse should be fixed. It's time to play. It's time to lane. It's time for game 3.
All right, let's get into the action.
What happened, Svetius? 20 minutes ago.
We picked some jumps. 2 minutes in, we've got some cool drafts. Knight on his Ahri.
Yes.
Beitron on the Vi. We're expecting pressure around the mid lane on the bot side of the map. Center stacks. That's what I was about to talk about as the hook connects.
Okay, Busio immediately disengages it.
And Inspired right now is counter jungling, so this is actually one of my favorite things to do in solo queue that we've seen actually a couple times, even at the tournament already. But he did cross over vision when he went to go steal that away.
Oh, Bwipo versus Bin. The 1v1 as both are down to about 100 HP. Bin drinking the potion as Bwipo does the same. Those cooldowns early on. Bin, quick burst onto Bwipo, but then without anything to fire back with, Bwipo traded back aggressively and now has a slight HP advantage. Bin, though, just going to cast another round of spells as Bwipo eats the orange.
Yeah, the Gangplank Trial Bot Fire, the passive is a lot of your early power, so Bwipo trying to utilize that here against Mbessa before she has too much of a chance. He's running a little bit low on mana now, though. That is the main problem there with Mbessa being resourceless.
Okay, Beitron, you can see as soon as he saw that there was a ward there in the enemy jungle with his sweeper, he immediately decided against actually going for the blue buff. Did not want to be caught and punished as Inspired is looking at the top side. Bin could walk up to this pixel brush to try to ward it, and as soon as he does, he finds Inspired waiting, but immediately ready to dash away.
Yeah, Inspired going to clear out that ward too. And Bwipo's got the wave in a nice spot, so without the ward vision, he has to be very, very careful with the positioning. That's going to be a bit rough up there for Bin. Bwipo goes to harass him a little bit, but Inspired could just do the crab. His jungle is just getting pilfered for this, though, completely pillaged for denying Bin's Mbessa.
I mean, remember that Inspired was stealing a bunch of camps on the top side of the map, and after revealing himself,
very good.
It now just makes it very easy for that bot side to be invaded. Bwipo's lane state is in a fantastic spot right now. Inspired going to continue this split map.
It's a full split, and he can go right back topside, too, after Wolves. He looks like he's going to finish off the Wolves before going back. I was wondering if he was going to visit there again, but since Bin still has his flash, he wants to still keep up his income. So takes the Wolves, is going to go back, visit once again, camping the top side.
Okay, Beishwan, though, going towards bottom lane. Busio, 300 HP on the Alistar, but he's far back enough that there's no play for BLG to try to make. Now Bin
used,
trying to get himself away, but Inspired has already jumped in here. Bin trying to flash out. Steadfast presence from Inspired, but Bin already has the distance. That's the flash down from Mbessa.
And you see there, if you have 4 ranged minions is enough to freeze a lane anywhere up there, so it's a really good spot still for Bwipo. I believe he had like, oh, no, there's only 2 left.
Time to shove.
Time to shove.
It was pushing back. It was building up, pushing back.
Both mid laners going to return to their lane as a trade comes through. Hook connects once more.
Yeah, Busio still in some danger down here. The Ignite's already been used. Busio with the counterattack, headbutt pulverized, but there's not a lot of power early on from Masu Senna. Busio forced to use his summoner spells defensively to get away safely, but no! Masu drops instead, and Elk and On are running the 2v2 in game 3.
Very nice punish from the BLG bot lane. As Inspired on the Dragon.
Inspired's jumping in, and a teleport's coming in from Flyquest side as well. Bwipo's making his way down, and since Bwipo shows up, Inspired forces Beishwan to flash back out over the wall, and this will be a Dragon leashed for Flyquest as it's secured by Inspired.
Yeah, Flyquest already had their reset in motion to send their bottom lane up to the top side of the map, so they still get the objective, although the early gold lead here will remain for BLG off that kill.
This wave state is also very nice for Bwipo. Again, the wave is pushing into him. TP response will come through from Bin as the bot lane of BLG try to match. Small advantage gained for BLG as the Dragon is secured for Flyquest. Overall, still a very even early game.
Nicely for Bin, though. Remember that once Mbessa hits level 6, that is the ability that the passive vamp is tied to. So we'll make it easier for him to try to continue sustaining through some of these trades back and forth with Bwipo. Gangplank, very annoying, especially with the grasp and the oranges. Doesn't have the grasp, excuse me, the fleet footwork this time around, but still plenty of healing with that keystone alongside the W to keep his health topped off. As we take a look up here in the top side, Masu and Busio giving away that kill in the 2v2. Masu sticking around. We know that when he's at his best, this guy plays the limit, walks the line so well, and that time he stepped a little bit too far over it, and Elk and On were immediately ready to punish.
I mean, the average center stacks at MSI that we've seen is that at around 14 minutes. Normally it's about 33, and then at 20 minutes it's normally been about 50. Whereas for Masu, I feel like that on average, he's been getting way above that. He's been kind of overperforming in terms of the center stacking, and I've been super impressed with how well, even when he's put behind, he's been able to still have huge impact on the champion.
Yeah, they're definitely big fans of the champion. And we should go back over, because it was so long ago that we did talk about it, but the champion combinations here for Flyquest are really built to scale and kind of lean into that center stacking and scaling as a team overall. You know, Gangplank trying to farm up as much gold as possible, extra gold, using the passive, and eventually they're going to have so many answers here for what BLG are showing. But BLG, they're showing a lot of hard engage. And so we'll see in the next, 5 to 10 minutes when BLG start to turn it on and they start to go very aggressive for their kills.
Like they're doing right now. Beishwan, level 6 on the Vi, immediately engages on Busio. Dawning Shadow from Masu can't save him. It's a 1-0 for BLG as On gets away with 100 HP. Beishwan, level 6, first here in the jungle, and it pays off for BLG.
BLG's comp just has so many playmakers on it. The hook CC that's provided by the Nautilus. Oh, Inspired has found Vi.
Yeah, Inspired jumping in there for the slam into the wall. Meanwhile, bottom lane, the Realm Warp coming in as Bin has to run towards the Flyquest side. Bwipo drops the ultimate down for the cannon barrage to slow the Mbessa, but now Bwipo's got to be careful. Quad with the flash to guarantee that Bin doesn't get an outplay. Flyquest are finally on the board. Up here on the top side, Masu cancels his own recall, and with Inspired jumping in there and forcing Beishwan away from the Void Grub pit, now Beishwan has made his way back towards it. With the control over the top side from Elk and on, they can rotate down, Knight can rotate up. It'll be all 3 Void Grubs for BLG.
Yeah, BLG going to collect them all. Yet, it is going to be some scary stuff there. If Rise is able to get a lot of early income, that can be devastating for BLG as well. So Quad getting the kill to help fund his double stacking build here for Rise, plus then getting a turret plate afterwards as well to really fund that split push that he wants to be able to build into is very good for the game plan that Flyquest have set up.
And I think Flyquest are utilizing this pressure well. They immediately move into the bot side jungle, knowing that all this top side was just invested by BLG to secure that grubs. Bin is now in a very scary position, and On wisely looks to try and cover him, knowing that he's at the threat of a dive. This bot side jungle is a very scary place for BLG to inhabit, and so On is looking to clear out some of that vision and give Bin a little bit more information so that he can still gain access to that farm.
Yeah. I think the onus is on BLG to make their plays, to force their kills and get their money, because Flyquest are going to be looking to play the entire map, really spread out here with Rise, Gangplank, and Senna all having really good wide map options. And then, of course, the Poppy and Alistar, as you mentioned, trying to play that defense and keep their towers up. Let's see, though, pushing out here for Bwipo against Elk, even though they do have the rotation of the Nautilus coming up. Bwipo should be fine. He's a Gangplank, and he has his flash up. Well, it's pretty deep.
Yeah, he's very far forward now. TP's coming in for both sides. Bwipo going to tank some damage here at the start, down to about half HP. Flashes away from the hook, but Knight's ready to follow. Dawning Shadow for the shield onto Bwipo. The charm hits, but the orange won't save him. Now, On, stuck, rounded, rooted up, and he'll be burst down next. Inspire grabs the kill as Busio jumps forward, but Knight's already cleared the distance. Flyquest making a 1-for-1, but Masu's going to drop if he's not careful. BLG successfully get their carries away to the safety of the tier 1 turret.
That was actually quite good for BLG because now they're the ones with the split push. They're the ones with Bin getting fed on the bottom side of the map. Flyquest, they tried to assemble the Avengers. They tried to get everybody there, and they only got 1 kill back for that death. They spent so many resources up to the top side of the map. So BLG, they just get the bottom side money for Bin and the Dragon for themselves.
Exactly, Kobe. It was just such a huge investment for very little gain. And so BLG took that opportunity to get so much on the map. Great awareness from BLG. They've now amounted a 1.2k gold lead, and it's just kind of evenly spread across the side with the bulk of it sitting onto Elk. That bot lane already getting a 2 versus 2 kill early. They got the gank from Beishwan as well, and now more resources spent towards the top side. I was expecting this to be a mid-focused early game plan from BLG, but no, they've been funneling everything into Elk, and he's looking to carry here in game 3.
Yeah, with all this extra money here for BLG, the threat behind their engage and their pick opportunities is going to be massive.
And you already said, Kobe, that the onus is on BLG. It's up to them to drive the pace of this game forward and make this dive comp work. And you've got the best diving AD carry in the game with 4 dive buddies ready for that lead as Bin just continues scrapping with Bwipo's Gangplank. The shield's making it so Bwipo doesn't even get any valuable damage in return. Perfect execution. Bin jumps in. Bwipo about to fall, and Bin gets the solo kill.
Bin getting rich is a very dangerous thing for Flyquest. The solo bolo after he just got so much money in the previous bottom side exchange, getting turret plates for himself that funded his Eclipse, and he goes right in, nails the ultimate onto the Gangplank.
I mean, the Eclipse spike versus the components. Bwipo has now finished the Trinity Force, but Bin with great awareness of not only do I have more levels, so I've got now more CDR, but also I just have more damage than you. Takes an initial trade, fully commits, and now it's Busio in danger.
Busio pops the unbreakable will immediately as BLG engage on him, and now he has no powerful defensive tool. Quad's in danger as Knight uses the Spirit Rush immediately, going point blank with Quad. He lands the charm right into the vibe. Follow up, there's the dredge line too. BLG have so many tools, and they're beating Flyquest to death with them.
And this is what we talked about in the draft. BLG don't have to slow the game down. They have so many ways to force skirmishes, force collapses, and this was another fantastic collapse. They got control over the mid wave. They moved into the topside jungle. Quad doesn't respect the potential collapse, and now Inspired gets hooked.
Inspire just going where he has no business being. Onsi's free money presenting itself, and he is happy to collect.
BLG, they are not slowing down at all. It's going to be a steamroll here. They're getting out of control with the amount of money. That's going to be the tower as well.
This is almost a 4,000 gold lead with that first turret falling. 14 minutes into the game, by far the most one-sided early game in the series. Here in game 3, BLG are absolutely dominating Flyquest.
They get the flash out from Quad as well as a nice charm comes through from Knight. Pick after pick, pressure across the map. BLG is continuing to mount advantages, but they need to get the reset off. 30 seconds until the Herald spawns, and BLG will want to take everything.
Bin. He is going to be a terror. Bottom side pressure is relentless there. Teleport's available as well for the mid laner, so they can answer. I believe we'll just send Knight up to the top side to answer for now. And Quad has to be careful because look at how deep those wards are. Whenever BLG take over an area of the map, you can see leaving behind a bunch of vision right here. That just enables further picks for them. So Flyquest, their goal of trying to farm up and play the map, well, they're going to go for that bin.
They've got to try to get this here as Bin wanted to use the perfect execution on Quad, but a nice sidestep means no way out for Ambessa. Inspired picks up the kill. The lead for BLG back down to 3,000, but that's still a commanding advantage. Busio looking for even more, but a TP from BLG on. Flash dredge line finds Quad. The Rise the immediate target, and BLG has found another kill. Now Flyquest scrambling to keep the fight going as Knight is ejected. Keeper's verdict might try to save him as On's about to drop next. Flyquest are going to find On. Flyquest are going to find another on Beishuan, and Flyquest win the fight. The gold lead drops from 3,000 down to 2. Masu stepping away from the Spirit Orb, and Flyquest will finally stop the fight.
In the extended exchange, Flyquest come out on top. Just a few seconds ago, it was a 3.9k gold lead for BLG, but Flyquest have brought it down to 2. Getting a couple of shutdowns, getting that kill onto base 1 was massive, and this is what we needed to see from Flyquest, finding picks on the map. This engage looks very suspicious. A quick TP comes through from BLG, a nice engage from On. Once they've used all their resources to take out Quad, the collapse from both Whippo and Inspired with a beautiful ultimate on tonight as well allows for Flyquest to create a numbers advantage and get themselves 2 kills in exchange.
Yeah, huge poppy value there, Vedius, as you point out, knocking him out. Also, they fought on the Gangplank ultimate too, so a bunch of value there, and Flyquest bringing this one back to within reach.
It might have been a stumbling point there for BLG, but they are definitely not done yet. They're going to keep this going forward with Beishuan starting up the Rift Herald. No interference here from Flyquest because Knight is already on the tier 2 in the top lane.
Before that fight has started, I was about to talk about how there are still some bright spots for Flyquest that they can keep their eyes on, and that's in particular Masu. With the Static Shift completed, he has access to a lot more wave clear now, and his stacking continues to be on point. We're getting closer to 20 minutes, and he's well on pace to get above the 50 stacks mark. BLG, though, they're not going to slow down their aggression. They know they're in the driver's seat. They've set their eyes on the top side of the map, and they want to contest this tier 2 tower.
Meanwhile, you're going to see Inspired working on the next Drake. BLG, though, happy to trade dragons for gold here as they'll secure the tier 2 in the top lane. That is BLG grabbing their second turret of the game, both of them here in this top side.
Now they have to have Masu be a little bit careful in mid lane, and they are just going to back off, push the wave, steal the Raptors, take that gold for themselves. Yeah, BLG pushing it forward, though, getting a secondary one. I think Flyquest, honestly, are still kind of okay with the situation, getting, again, more focused gold onto Rise here for Quad to be able to put that pressure up.
Yeah, obviously the goal difference still important, but it's important to recognize where it is, and it's 1.3k gold in favor of On. Now, of course, having that extra support item, always a nice thing to have. But in terms of carry itemization, Knights takes a bit of damage. In terms of carry itemization, Flyquest is not that far behind. The two mid laners are pretty evenly matched. The Herald will drop in mids as BLG do not want to slow this game down.
Yeah, important to note though, Elk is on the 2 fully completed item power spike for Kai'Sa. Very, very threatening here on this 80 carry pick to dive in with everybody else on the team. Beishwan clearing out some vision. BLG down 1 Drake to 2, so it's not like they'll be able to use those to force Flyquest to come to fights anytime soon if Flyquest don't want to. But BLG have been forcing plenty on their own without needing the objectives to get it done. Speaking of objectives, it's only 1 minute until Otacon spawns, and with BLG still sitting on a 3,000 gold lead, I feel like this is probably going to be our next battlefield.
Look at Knight sitting in this top lane. He is so deep, but he's playing with so much confidence because of that control ward that he has. He feels very safe with his ultimate and his flash available. And on a side lane, hook connects.
Yeah, On just finds Busio though, not really super worried about it.
Yeah, Busio and Inspired been doing their jobs. These two body blockers, they are the bouncers on the Flyquest composition here. The Poppy and the Alistar so critical in interrupting a lot of these dashes and these aggressive BLG moves. We're kind of at a little bit of a tipping point here, though. BLG, they can tip over and get a couple more big objectives for themselves. They already are taking over a large area of the map, and more area means more possibilities of picking off Flyquest members and getting that gold. So 2 more outer towers going the way of BLG means they can set up this vision kind of deep in your jungle and look to pick off Flyquest when they rotate.
Yeah, that's another turret. It's back to a 3,500 gold lead. Whippo trying to respond and get something in the top lane, but Knight is already here. He's immediately clearing out the wave, and Whippo doesn't have a chance to find any sort of a counterattack. Remember that both top lane turrets are down for Flyquest's side. There's nowhere really for Whippo to retreat to, which is why you can immediately see Busio and Inspired both making their way up here, guaranteeing that Whippo has a way out. If anybody gets picked on Flyquest, you're already down so much gold, it's instantly free Otacon. If BLG can find a pick, really, really scary stuff here right now for Fly, as BLG are just not letting up. Relentless now, as you can see, all of those second item power spikes starting to come online. Spear plus Eclipse for Bin's Ambessa. The Black Cleaver now done for Beishwan on the Vi as well.
Now I want to see, will Flyquest go for one of these trailing split push plays? Because they have so many options with their global ultimates, with Gangplank, with the Senna here, and the Realm War possibilities. Nobody right now. They are looking for a mid push first to finish off this objective. This tower is already fairly low. Flanks come in from Vi though.
Serpent Spang on Whippo to counter the shields of Bin, of Vi, of the Kai'Sa as well. The Killer Instinct could be the difference between cutting that shield in half, could be the difference between life and death.
Good job there by Flyquest not getting baited in by the low health turret. They actually do get one of the teleports out for themselves, and they escape up to the top side.
All right, BLG, control over the top side river. Otacon spawned. Flyquest gonna have to try to make sure that they can at least have some information in the area. They do not want to give this away to BLG. On creeping his way up here, keeping an eye out, seeing if maybe they can set up a pick onto Whippo. They know this Gangplank wants to keep farming in the side lane. They know that he wants to keep scaling.
And that Gangplank is providing a lot of value with the Serpent's Fang already, because there's so many shields on the enemy team, but Otacon's already started up Flowers.
Yeah, the Otacon's down to half HP. On's not going to hit his dredge line. Flyquest is on the approach. BLG backing up a little bit here as Masu tries to enter in. Cannon Barrage already used, forcing BLG back. Now Otacon down to 3,000 HP. Flyquest still thinking about it, but Keeper's Verdict was already used. West! Stolen away by Beishwan. Absolutely massive there. But what about the rest of the fight? BLG backing up now. They've lost On, but they claim the Otacon.
The tower is still standing in the top lane, so BLG have a nice sentry to fall back to. BLG, surely they're not fishing for a fight here. They're a man down. An exchange of their support for the Otacon, I think, is a worthwhile trade for BLG.
That was quite big. The power behind it could be huge, especially because their comp is built to get a kill very quickly, so you can get that on-kill effect from Otacon pretty reliably. Rotation over for Dragon's Soul Point, though.
Exactly. Flyquest trying to use the opportunity with On's death timer just now ending. He's got to make his way back out onto the rift the long way. Nautilus forced to walk all the way down here as Flyquest hanging out in the brush. Busio goes in for the two-man knockup. Bin and Elk, though, not under a whole ton of pressure. Dawning Shadow. Busio still alive as Quad has to be careful here in the front line. Beishwan's in the back. Pressure onto Flyquest carries as Monster stays alive, but Quad is already down. Beishwan dies next. On tanking on the front line as Busio dies to Elk. The killer instinct from BLG is there. Knight tries to escape. Inspired needs more damage, and he finally finds him. Shut down over to Bwipo, though, but Elk hunts him down. It's a 2v1 left on the map. 3 dead on BLG, 4 dead on Flyquest. It's a Bot River bloodbath.
It's an insanely close fight between the two, but Elk was the difference maker. Patient with his ultimate. He does not go in too early, recognizing and waiting for his right opportunity. He gains access onto the backline. He collapses onto the rest of Flyquest, and he turns the fight in their favor. We're going to go back all the way to the Otacon fight, starting on the top side. A beautiful steal will come through from Beishwan. He's going to flash in range. He's going to land the smite just in time. Oh.
Yeah, and before that, he queued backwards to dodge the Poppy ult. He queues backwards, dodges the Poppy ult, comes back, flashes in range. Honestly, huge by the BLG jungler.
Then the re-engage comes through. Masu in a good position to start, but then Beishwan sets his sights onto the AD carry. The fight becomes split on two fronts, but keep your eyes on Elk on the left-hand side. Busio tries to get away to safety, and now Elk is behind them. It looks like a winning position, but because Masu in the 1v1 against Elk cannot win, it ends up going the way just barely of BLG.
Yeah, Bin and Elk up on that top side, getting so much power there, collecting the kills. That was a very close one, and now it is going to be pretty heavily towards BLG. They pick up their second Dragon, so they relieve some of that pressure there, working towards that Dragon Soul and use the extra gold. Flyquest, though, defense is still possible. Just gets much more difficult because these extra kills are giving over more empowered Otacon flowers as well. That means more burst damage that comes from BLG.
BLG, 4,000 gold ahead, even Drake State. Now trying to see how much more they can force here as Flyquest still critically, though, have control over their own side of the map. They can still secure their own buffs.
I want to take a moment to shout out Beishwan there because that was such a big play up by Otacon. And he's only been on this BLG team for a couple months, and there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders considering the star players that he has joined on this team, especially on Knight and Bin. You look at these names, and to have a clutch moment on the international stage could bode well for the future.
BLG have developed quite the history now when it comes to junglers, and they've been trying to find that one piece that can help bring the team together, and that's what Beishwan was able to do. So you want about his ceiling, potential play, what he's been able to show. What he does do is he helps bring this BLG team together, and he's doing it in this Game 3.
Right now, Nasher's Tooth completed for Elk. 3 fully completed major items. A maximum 700 gold extra bounty. 4, 0, and 6. A 2,500 gold lead as an individual. We were talking earlier about how a lot of the BLG gold lead is on the support, how that can be less effective than the gold being placed elsewhere. 2,500, almost 3,000 gold on a Kai'Sa in a full dive comp. Elk is armed and dangerous. He has everything he needs to carry this game.
Yeah, you could say that's effective. That is a very effective Kai'Sa right there. And we'll see if they can find their engage over the wall.
On, gonna get jumped on here by Busio and Bwipo together, but now immediately Masu's about to die at the very start. He's barely hanging on as Quad goes into the stasis, but now he's dead. Masu's down too. BLG have cut everybody on Flyquest to pieces, and Busio and Inspired have to try to get away. Ben goes in for the perfect execution as Busio drops. It's 2 for 5, and BLG are still standing.
That's gonna do it for BLG. They should be able to take the Baron afterwards and the tower at the same time. They just deleted Quad and Masu right at the beginning of this fight. Both of those big carries for Flyquest down so early.
Flyquest thought that they had caught on, but really they had walked into a trap of their own. Knight with an immediate engage over the wall. He gets knocked out of the fight, but being clumped up like this, with Elk's positioning fine and safe on the back line with the re-arrival of Knight, it just becomes the decimation of the Flyquest roster as they find an ace and a Baron as well.
With the Otacon power, with the Baron power, BLG now have the tools to push in and close it up.
9,000 gold, the lead for BLG. They've got the Baron for the next 2.5 minutes. I would not be surprised at all to see them go for the kill shot. Why they still have this buff. Whippo and Inspired trying to defend here at the tier 2 turret, but Flyquest is now so far behind. We're past the realm where Flyquest can try to make a big move of their own. They're going to need a mistake from BLG, but BLG have all been sending it all together all game long.
And Flyquest, though, they still have to remain with the game plan. They're trying to play defense while get resources by split pushing. You see Rise on the top side of the map trying to push out, look for the objective bounty, while the rest of the team clears waves. Gangplank, very effective at clearing waves here. They're trying to buy themselves some time. They sacrifice that mid inhibitor. They have the Rise, accomplishing something with the split push, but it is a drop in the bucket at the moment.
On's going in immediately. Whippo and Busio going to take half their health, but On is dead. Keeper's verdict knocks Elk out of the fight so that Flyquest don't have to worry about the major carry.
Quad commits the TP. He was pushing on the top side of the map, but he wants to be here in the event that it could convert into a winning fight. Both Elk and Beishuan got knocked out by the Poppy ultimate as well. So Knight went in, said, okay, I'm going back out again. And so Flyquest will take the kill. They will, for now, hold on to their base, but with another dragon secured, BLG likely will not stop with the pressure. A quick reset will come back, and then they'll be right back out onto the map.
And look at Elk's inventory. Seeker's arm guard on the Kaisa. This is the green light to fly into the fight whenever he wants to. BLG's next fight, for a game that's already been explosive, is going to be that much more.
Flyquest are going to have to have an epic defense for themselves for the next 5 to 10 minutes. The dragon coming up is going to be very, very dangerous. That soul is super hard for them to approach, but they're trying to get as much money as they can, try and not give up anything before that fight actually draws them out onto the map.
Cloud Soul, always valuable for the movement speed, but you always think about the ultis. Ambessa, Ahri, Kaisa, these are all so powerful with that massive movement speed boost. And Flyquest, it's so difficult to try to hold on now. Knight is going to put in the last little bit of damage needed to clear out the tier 3 turret here in the bottom lane. Only 10 seconds left in the Red Bull Baron power play, but it's plus 2,500 gold thereabout, and one inhibitor down, one inhibitor exposed in the Flyquest base as they have to try to scramble to hang on.
Flyquest, when I think about what options they might have, I look at Marsu, very close to 100 stacks. I think of maybe a quad realm warp if they could perhaps surprise a Baron. Maybe they can create some sort of flank angle. They've got 2 deep wards in the mid lane. Maybe they could use these to create a TP opportunity. Your best play is to just catch your opponents off guard. Inspired has been on point with who he's been connecting those ultimates onto. But if there's not damage or they're not getting a kill in exchange, then Flyquest don't stand a chance of turning this game around.
Yeah, I was going to say the Poppy as well. That is one ultimate that can be game-changing, even when so much money is against you. If you can change the numbers in a very effective way, then maybe.
All right, On gets stunned by Inspired, but the Acadian Rain from Elk firing back. On very low on HP here, and Quad is going to get the kill. Flyquest with another pop onto the support of BLG.
Sometimes it's just a brush camp as well. You put up your control wards, camp on your brush, get a pick.
Now Knight running away, trying to disengage. Busio looking for maybe if there was an opportunity to try to headbutt or flash over the wall, but they didn't have any follow-up firepower, so that means that Flyquest don't want to go any further.
Nice pick from Flyquest. Just a few more of those, and I'll reduce the gold gap.
About 25 more Nautiluses, and they might be back to some parity.
But hey, the more time you stall, the more time you give to your Senna. Maybe you can get another item, maybe even another component could be the difference maker. Flyquest is looking for anything at this point in time. Remember that there's a decent amount of standing gold with all these towers still available. One good fight could swing the momentum massively. And BLG, they're not playing flawlessly right now. They are getting caught off guard.
I did say it as a joke, but even if you killed Nautilus 25 times in a row and he did not get a reduced death bounty every time, BLG would still be up almost 2,000 gold. That is the state that Flyquest are currently
I
in.
didn't ask.
I just got to make sure that we all understand how dire these straits are for Flyquest as BLG drafted this comp that had the burden of execution on them. They had to push the pace of the game forward. They had to make the plays. They had to work together, and they have done it beautifully so far in this game. You look over at Flyquest, you look at Masu, you look at the win con here in the Senna. Yes, he's stacking well. He's got 106. Elk has 4 fully completed items.
A wise man once said, if you don't have faith, why are you even here? Down almost 10,000 gold. Vancouver, do you believe in the defense? Do you believe in Flyquest?
They seem to, as On tries to go in for the engage. Immediate keeper's verdict to knock Knight back out of the fight. Flyquest again will find the Nautilus.
That's another Nautilus down, Flowers. We're racking up the kills. Flyquest, they're holding strong for now, but look at those minion waves on the minimap. Bot is being pushed in, top as well. BLG still exuding that pressure across the map, and Flyquest, they're funneled into the river.
Doing my best to invoke the ancient magic here. Flyquest pushing in as 5 with the dragon only 9 seconds away.
Exactly. The Dragon Soul for BLG is about to spawn, and On's not even alive for another 10 seconds. But BLG is saying, all right, you want to take the dragon, go ahead. You're only on 2. They're going to start the Baron up themselves at the same time. They're not doing it particularly quickly, so Flyquest are going to get the Drake and then Realm Warp up to try to stop them. It's the Cannon Barrage to start things off. Knight is trying to cover for the rest of BLG as they make their escape. The Baron starts to regenerate, and On is alive and back on the map. He's making his way up to the rest of BLG. Elk's at only about 60% health, but nobody seems to want any more. Not yet.
Flyquest, the defense is good for now. Bin was thinking of flanking. He actually calls it off, though. Minions are on the inhibitor in the bottom lane. They have to go defend.
Yeah, they're really problematic. Flyquest, they're afraid to concede the pressure that they have on the map right now, but they need to address these waves. The Gangplank ultimate couldn't be used, but it's already on cooldown after the last exchange. Flyquest, they're so cautious of this Baron dropping. There, Quad now responding to the bot wave, has the TP available, finally going to get that push out. He is so close to a death cap, and we talked about it as a dream, but Flyquest are looking to make the defense a reality.
Yeah, the teleport's coming in from Quad, and immediately it's going to be On in some danger again. Inspired slams him right back into the wall, and Flyquest is moving forward. Baron down to 5,000. Inspired into the pit. Face one's ejected. Lucio here on the front line. Flyquest take the Baron. Now the follow-up fight slams Baron back into the wall. Base wall to Demasu, but it will not matter. There is no follow-up. Knight is crestfallen. There's nowhere for him to go, and Elk is hunted in the top side river.
Here on Canadian soil, Flyquest will ascend at the Baron buff. They get the Baron. What can they get afterwards? They're going to immediately teleport out, start pushing.
Okay, Flyquest grouped up here on the top side. BLG have lost their major weapon in the bottom lane. Elk dead for another 30 seconds. Realm Warp for the minions. Flyquest going in.
Elk is dead for 30 more seconds. The wave, the damage is unavailable. This center is huge. Flyquest
pushing for the first inhibitor. They're going to find it. 15 seconds on Bin, 15 seconds on Elk. Flyquest making their way onto the Nexus turrets. Busio here in the front line as On tries to defend. Beishuan's going to be the next target. Beishuan barely getting away. Busio's still alive. Knight goes on a killing spree. Inspired down to 200 HP. A little bit more damage kills him off. Bin jumps into the fight as Beishuan's about to drop. They do secure the kill as Masu is still firing. Elk into the back line, and Flyquest are aced.
The defense from BLG was strong enough to keep Flyquest away from the Nexus. Knight did so much work. The arrival of Elk solidified it. They now have the minions, and they're looking to close out this game.
Flyquest thought they had the miracle angle. They tried to go for the end, but BLG stand tall. Bin's got the minions, and On's gonna join him. BLG will have free firing time on the Nexus turrets. It turned way closer than they thought, but BLG will secure the win and move to match point.
Flyquest at the precipice of a miracle. are shut down by the individual members of BLG. They came so close to getting the lead in this series, but they just couldn't quite get it over the finish line.